Good afternoon and welcome to Undoing I Do again with Stephanie in a day. I'm
Hi,
Stephanie.
everyone. Oh, sorry, Stephanie. I'm
Nope,
so
it's
excited about our topic.
all right. I'm just exhausted today. And I'm also Stephanie Hunnell, the owner of the Hunnell Law Group.
All day long, Stephanie Hunnell, all day long. My name is Adela Sherilyn Dow, and I am the owner of the law offices of Adela Sherilyn Dow. Stephanie is in Asbury Park. That's where her office is. And my office is in Staten Island, New York. How is
Yeah,
everyone this evening? Steph, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Again, I'm just a little tired. For some reason, this week just feels exhausting. How about you?
You know what? I yesterday was great because it was so cool. I was relaxing in the backyard. It was all like, oh, we need to put up a fire or something. We had that cozy feeling, and today is
Nice.
hot. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it is. It's the heat.
It must be. I've also been in the office all week long, and I think I'm not used to that anymore.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm used to working. We all work a lot more now than we. At least for me, I feel like I work a lot more now than I did when we were really going into the office every day. But I was in the office earlier today. I was there yesterday, which is the most I've been there since March because we're completely remote. But
Mhm.
yeah, if I had been there every day, I probably would feel the same way.
Yeah, I think I'm not used to it yet, but I will. I'll get used to it.
Yep, and you're not. You know what? We're talking today about how to help your lawyer help you.
Yes. And I think actually that might be why I'm tired too, because sometimes clients don't necessarily help us do our job. And sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get information. And so today's episode is all about how you can help us help you.
That's right. And especially, so the first thing that I wanted you to do is if you think anybody needs this video, share it along, like our page and share our videos. We do this to get to you people, get the information out to the people.
Yes.
So,
One more plug. If you have questions, please post your questions because we can answer them. If it's directly related to attorney-client relationship and how you can help your lawyer help you, perfect. If not, post it anyway, and we can address it on another episode.
absolutely. We are always looking to talk about what you want us to talk about. And so definitely send us a message or better yet, post it in the live. So this is, I think, a big topic for most lawyers, right?
I
Because
think so.
because we really want to help our clients get the best results. And a lot of the times our clients feel like, hey, you guys are the best, right? And, I'll pat myself on the back. You do the same. That's why we hired you because you're the best. You're going to bring us these results. You're a rock star. Okay. Here's what I tell all of my clients. It's almost like a computer. If you put badness in, that wasn't the word I was going to say, but if you put badness in, you get badness out. Y'all know the word I was going to say. It's the same
Yes.
thing when you have an attorney-client relationship. And this is no matter really what area of law you are practicing in, your attorney is going to need you to help them along so that they can shine and be the best and get you the best results. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, I think, the thing that causes most people, if they're in a rut with their attorney relationship, this is what is the biggest thing that causes it. Oh, thank you, Jan. Hey, boo. Jan Katz Nelson. He's going to be on our show one day. Criminal lawyer
Yes.
extraordinaire.
Oh,
Big up to
nice.
Staten Island, Jan Katz Nelson. Thanks for watching. so, so the biggest thing I think is that people put their head in the proverbial sand. We've all seen that commercial. Isn't there like a Geico commercial or something like that? Okay,
I think
if
so,
it's
with
not
an
Geico,
ostrich or
don't sue me.
something.
Where the ostrich has its head in
Yep.
the sand, right? Okay. And Jan knows because Jan and I are dealing with something very similar to this. Jan, if your criminal clients put their head in the sand where you're trying to get their stories straight as to what really happened and what the allegations are, you can't help them. Stephanie and I cannot help our matrimonial clients if they don't want to engage in the process. If If you give us all of your problems and then just walk away, we actually can't solve the problem.
Right. And you're not going to be satisfied with the representation you're getting because we can't solve the problem without your help.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And so, you're paying, in some cases, you're paying $300, $400, $500 an hour for representation. But if we can't find you, or if you're unwilling to deal with the topic, then we can't help you. And we know that these situations, especially if you're dealing with matrimonial, family law, it's not fun unless you're doing adoption, right? Or there's very few instances in family law where you're having fun hiring an attorney, right, or when you're happy to hire an attorney. And so we know that it's hard. We know that it's emotionally taxing. But in order for us to assist you, you have to face the proverbial music. You have to face the thing that you don't want to be reminded of all the time, or even to remember.
Yep. And you have to tell us everything also, which was my first point, is
say it again.
Don't edit yourself for us. Don't try to determine what's relevant. Just tell us everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because for sure your spouse is going to come forward and start telling us all of these things, and then we're going to be caught not knowing what's going on, or making arguments that is based on what you think we wanted to, you wanted to make it and how you wanted to outline. But in reality, we're not able to sell that case because as soon as we respond, the other side responds with all of the dirt and the details. So tell us everything. We'll decide what's relevant or what's not relevant. And we'll, that's going to be the only way that we can best prepare our case for you. Or your case.
So true. That is so true. And, we've all been there where, we're in court. Excuse me, the worst place to be when a revelation drops. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is not Matlock, people. This is not Law and Order. We do not want to be, having somebody run into court. This is not Annalise. I'm not Annalise. Somebody once compared me to her. I don't. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that on the floor. But
awesome.
She's awesome, but
not always, not all the things, but
yeah, not too much drama. But we don't want to be in that emergency scare situation where you could have told us something 2 months ago that happened a year ago or 5 years ago that we really needed to know, but you were too embarrassed to tell us, or you didn't think we needed to know that. Look, I always tell people that I ask you for everything but your underwear size. And sometimes that matters, maybe, I don't know. But I ask you for everything but your underwear size. Give me all of the information. There's nothing, and we've said this on the show before. There's nothing under the sun that is going to shock us, and we're not here to judge you. We're here to assist you.
Right, and the only way we can do that is if we know how to help.
Exactly. And the other thing too that goes with telling us everything is don't second guess everything that you decide to do. Don't second that. Uh-oh. Yes, Jan. Did you see what Jan just put there?
Yes, I did. And we didn't say yes, exactly. If
Jan,
if you lie to your attorney, the only one that it hurts is you.
Correct. Because it's not our life. It's your life. It's your life that we're trying to protect. In Jan's case, it's your liberty. It's your freedom that he's trying to protect. It's your money. It's your children that we're trying to protect on the family law side. Yeah, don't lie to us. Just tell us what the truth is. We're all adults and we can handle it. And we also may need to know so that we can hook you up with a third party who may be able to assist us together to help you.
Yep. And also there's certain legal theories that might exist that you wouldn't even know about if you try to sugarcoat the truth or simply don't tell us, or just outright lie to us about the way the reality actually is. But
That's right. I had a client who was fighting for custody, and the person told me in court, by the way, I wanted to tell you that I did XYZ drug about 30 days ago. For real? You couldn't tell me that before we got into court? Because quite frankly, I would have amended the way I bobbed and weaved in that case.
Mm-hmm.
I would have amended the way I did. Hi, Tamika. I would have amended. Thank you for watching, girl. I hope everything is going okay with that situation. Okay, so I would have amended the way I represented you. And so the next thing that we were going to talk about before Jan gave us that good piece of information was don't second guess yourself.
Yes.
Okay, we know what we're doing in matrimonial and family law is very difficult. It's hard for a lot of people to even pull the trigger. But once you and your attorney have come up with a plan, it is so counterproductive to your progress in your case to continue second guessing yourself because you're afraid of what the other person is going to do. So I have a case right now where my client says, but I think that they're going to blank. And suppose the judge believes what they say. Okay, look, the law says X. I'm here to tell you how I can represent you best and align our mission with what the law says.
Yep.
Don't worry about what your adversary says. Stephanie, do you find yourself saying that to people all the time? Like, that's your enemy at this point. Don't listen to them. They're telling you stuff to derail you.
Constantly. And I think we've talked about this before, but you're divorcing your spouse for a reason. I don't understand why you're now going to accept what they're threatening you with or telling you is true instead of what I'm telling you is the truth and what I'm telling you is the law. And I 100% agree with you. Once we have a game plan, let's just move forward with the game plan. Let's move proactively through your divorce instead of trying to react to what they're doing, because we have a plan in place. And I'm telling you, we've crafted it for a reason. I didn't just decide to pick one thing out of the air and do it without any thought of the consequences of what we're doing.
That's right. Now, okay, let's give them a caveat. If something happens that could derail the plan, let us know. Stick to the plan until we tell you that the plan has to pivot, because we know how to deal with things that come up, but to second guess, quite frankly, when you're second guessing, you're sending your lawyer emails, you're calling us 5 million times, you are, editing stuff that we put into documents that we had already discussed 2 weeks before. You're costing yourself money, you're costing yourself time, and quite frankly, sharks can smell the blood in the water.
Oh, yeah.
If you start pivoting, you have just given your adversary all of the bait they need to reel you in.
Yep. I have to tell you, when you have to go back and forth, and this is what I hate the worst, is when I have one directive and I send this letter and we're going full steam ahead, and then all of a sudden the client's like, no, actually, let's do it this way, or how come we're not doing this? And then you have to go back and kind of backpedal anything. The second that you do that, they already know on the other side that they're going to attack. And unfortunately, with family law, I mean, it's like that. Sometimes it's really can be cutthroat. And yeah, we have to prepare for that too.
That is so true, Stephanie. That is so true. You always have to be prepared.
Money. Yep.
That's true.
Look, divorce is already expensive. This process and the things that we have to do to get you through to end game, it's a lot, and it does become expensive, and it becomes more expensive when we have to backpedal things and then renegotiate things that we've already decided were like a firm, stopgap.
Yep, absolutely. That is so true. And you know what? Contrary to popular belief, most lawyers don't want to just be taking your money if we don't have to. Most of us, again, like I said before in another video, if your lawyer is running a successful practice, they're not just sitting there trying to suck all of your money out just to do that. If they have a successful practice, they do not need to do that. Whatever their fees are there because they have whatever level of expertise. They're not usually just trying to squeeze all of the juice out of your case. And so, since that's the situation, we really don't want to be changing lanes 5 million times, because we're not there just to make money from you. We're there to assist you. What's the
Absolutely.
next thing you think that's important? We have a whole list going, y'all.
I
Let's
know.
do
Since
it.
we're talking about money essentially right now, I also want to say that in order to save yourself some money, do not send us 52 emails a day.
Oh,
If you
no, no,
if
please
you
don't.
have questions, put them in an email, send it at the end of the day. We can answer your email the following day or something, and then you can get everything answered. But every time that you have a thought, just because you carry around your cell phone doesn't mean you need to send us a text message or an email with that thought. Um, because every single time we have emails, at least most attorneys, it's a billable moment every time we have to answer an email.
Yes, and what's going to happen is that then you'll get frustrated when you get the
Mhm.
bill and you'll say, "But I didn't know that you were charging me for that." Okay, first of all, this comes to another situation. Read your retainers. We didn't
Yes.
have that in our read your retainer agreement.
Hmm.
If you hire an attorney and they don't have a retainer agreement, you should run.
Yep.
If you hire an attorney and their retainer agreement is one page, double and triple spaced, you should also run. Because there are certain things that we're supposed to put into retainer agreements ethically. And
Yes.
Stephanie and I comply with our ethics rules and we put that stuff into your retainer. That's why it's 9 pages long. Well, mine is
Mhm.
9 pages. That's why it's so many pages long,
Yep.
because we put in there what the parameters of our relationship are. That's one other thing that you can do to help us to help you. I know I just jumped into something else, but it dovetails with
Yeah.
the sending 50 emails. You're gonna get charged for that. And so it's not like you're just having a conversation with your ace from back home, right?
Hmm.
You're having a conversation with your professional attorney who you've engaged to provide you with a level of professional service.
Hmm.
And so, when we have to sit down and look at 75 emails, or you send us 75 emails, but we were in court, so we didn't get back to you, and then you start calling, you do get charged for that.
Right. Right. And again,
Beware.
that goes along with, in addition to reading your retainer agreements, make sure you're reading your invoices as they come in, because you need to know what you're being billed for. You need to make sure that you understand the process. And if you have questions, we don't mind fielding those questions. We want
No.
you to ask us those questions. At least I'm very open, and I know Aday's very open. If you have a question about the bill, why did you get billed this? How is this calculated or something? Ask us. And I think it's really important, at least for me, since I can't remember sometimes what I ate for breakfast. If you get your invoice, ask me that month, because I don't know what I billed you for 3 months ago,
Right.
necessarily. But if you ask me immediately, I can say, okay, let's figure this out, and I could look at it. And, oh, okay, this is why it was so much, and I could explain, the cost. And also,
Right.
if there's any mistakes, we can fix those mistakes, and you're not holding on to any resentment going forward, because nobody likes to talk about invoices and billing and payments and monies owed. It really just is not a pleasant conversation to have. But if
Right.
we have an open dialogue from the beginning, then we don't have to worry about it going forward.
That's absolutely right. And when you do read your retainer, you will see, at least in my retainer, that we tell you to review your bill. And that if there is an issue, please let us know in writing. First of all, in the states of New York and New Jersey, we cannot bill you for talking about your bill.
Right.
That is unethical. So don't think, oh, snap, I'm going to get a whole other bill if I start calling this woman talking about my bill. That's not going to happen. And if
Yeah.
it does happen, again, run from that lawyer, because you're not represented by either one of us in that situation.
And I've had clients, I mean, look, I've had clients ask me, I want to go over this with you. Am I going to be billed for this? I'm like, no, you're not going to be billed for this conversation. I mean, if it takes us half an hour, I want to make sure you understand out of the gate, because then that avoids that topic coming up in the future. And it also ensures that we continue to have a level of trust with each other.
Exactly.
Because that would be like the death nail of any attorney client relationship, is if you don't trust your attorney because you think they're cheating you on a bill. I mean, that's the last thing I want to do. I want, I make a lot of my money and referrals come in from referrals from clients, and I
Right.
want to make sure that continues. So I want to make sure I have happy clients. I'm not trying to, grab a couple extra dollars here and there, to cut off my nose because, I don't know, I want an extra couple extra dollars for your emails. It's just not the case.
And quite frankly, it's just not worth it for us. We not
No.
up here trying to get rich off of $20 emails. We're not doing that. So yeah, and again, right, if you can't trust your first of all, this goes back to what we talked about in the first show.
Mhm.
Hire somebody that you trust. If you think that somebody is trying to nickel and dime you on a bill, you probably shouldn't be riding with that attorney. On the other hand, people make mistakes. We're all just human beings. And sometimes I might bill you for 0.10 when, I should have billed you for 0.3. That happens to me and I just let that go. Right? I let that go. But in the opposite, I'm not going to expect you to let an hour of time go that was supposed to be a half of an hour. It could
Right.
really be that the person has made a mistake. So speak up, talk to us, and actually that is another part of helping us to help you.
Yep.
We don't want to be billing you improperly.
No, not at all. And I think when you're talking about nickeling and diming, I know that some people, if you haven't used an attorney before, you don't really understand how you're being billed. So I know it's common practice that we bill at 0.1 or 0.10 is how each increment is, whether it's 2
And that's
minutes.
6 minutes of time for those of you who don't know.
Yep. So whether it's 2 minutes or 6 minutes, you're getting billed 0.1. Which is standard. That's not anything unusual. So you shouldn't think that that's an issue. And if you're concerned about it and you ask the question, we could explain to you that that's just the industry standard.
Exactly.
And also, I just kind of have a funny story. You reminded me of I had a fee arbitration with a client, and she's actually it was great afterwards. But we had a fee arbitration, and she was getting really upset because I had improperly billed her on an invoice. And the arbitrator was like, I'm not understanding the problem here. Well, I had done some kind of like some discovery that was probably paralegal work. So I had changed the bill and I put para amount. And so I billed her for like half of my rate, which
Okay,
I
that's
would have billed for like 3 hours of time. And so she was like, but this is not her rate. And the arbitrator was like, it's half of her rate. And she's like, yeah, but it's not proper. And it was like, I just thought that was the funniest thing. And afterwards, we had to explain to her that, yes, it was not actually my time. I billed you less than I would have, but I did the work. So I was giving you kind of the benefit because I didn't think it was necessarily legal work. It was just kind of a discovery. And by discovery, I mean reviewing financial records, reviewing bank statements, and that kind of a thing.
Right. It was work that had to be done, but didn't necessarily have to be done by an attorney. Jan, what does BRB mean?
Be right back.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jan. Jan, you a little younger than me, right? Okay. All right, bro. It was work that had to get done that didn't necessarily need to be done by an attorney, but you were doing it because you were facilitating getting it done. And you said, all right, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to charge her less. And that was the right thing to do. I do that type of stuff all of the time.
But that also, when she got that bill, if that was real, the question, she should have asked that question in advance instead of waiting until there was a collection issue. I mean, that would have just helped. And it also would have helped her understand. And she probably would have felt better, which actually at the end of arbitration, she did feel better because of it.
It's a shame that it had to get to that point for her to do that. And no, again, none of us want that at all.
Nope.
But then that goes along with the whole thing about documents, right?
Yep. Give us what we need. We ask for documents for a reason, not because we want to push paper around. I don't like doing 3 hours of document reviews, but we have to do it sometimes. And when you give it to us, it would be great if you give it to us in a way that's organized, at least a little bit. I don't expect you to, know exactly how we want everything. But if you're giving me bank statements that are completely out of date order, with credit card statements in between and, some medical records mixed in for good fun. I had one woman who gave me a picture of her colonoscopy, which was pretty alarming in the middle of like random paper once.
I'm gonna clutch my red pearl. Did she mean to do that? Like, was that a mistake?
I don't know. I feel like she must have just brought in this box to the office and was like, "You deal with this." Um, but all joking, it becomes very expensive if we have to review it, whether it's at a paralegal rate or the attorney rate, even worse. But
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
little bit of organization is helpful. Hey Ray, how are you? Thanks for stopping in. Um, I love Ray. Yeah, I mean, give us what we need and then we could help you. And it will cost you a lot less money if you're doing the organizing.
Absolutely. I always tell people that, listen, first of all, I'm generally not doing the organizational work. My secretary is, and even though she bills at a much lower rate than I do, it's still your money.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to give money for me to pay somebody else to do something that you could have done?
Ray
And
says he's
so
divorced, LOL.
what? Oh, congratulations. Wait, did you just get divorced or?
Last year or so.
Oh, okay. All right. So you brand new. All right, Ray.
Oh.
So, so yeah, let's not do that. Let's not come to the office with stacks and boxes of stuff that, oh, my pet peeve. Don't give me unopened mail.
Mm.
Hi, Rich. Look, child, you got the husband. See, last week you had your stepmom on here. This week you got your husband on here. Where my husband at? You know what? Okay, Michael down. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
he did.
yeah. My biggest pet peeve, don't bring me your unopened mail.
Yeah.
Stop. Don't do that. I don't, first of all, I feel like I'm crying when I'm opening up your bank statements and they're closed in the same envelope that TD or Bank of America gave them to you.
Yeah.
Please don't, please, I am not a mail opener. Use something else or somebody else to do that. Do not pay $400 something an hour for a day to open up your mail.
Or take
The
a half hour yourself before you drop it off. That's all.
Right. You know what else? We kind of sort of touched on this. Please engage with us. This goes into the whole head in the sand. Engage. The biggest complaint, from what I'm told, from ethics committee members,
Yes.
both in New York and New Jersey, is that attorneys don't respond to your calls, or attorneys don't take the time to talk to you when you email, or it takes them forever to get in touch with you. Don't be the same thing. Engage with your attorney. I have a case right now where, my staff and I just kept calling this person and texting not texting, we don't use text, but portal messaging this person. And we could tell that we know that the person has gotten the email notifying them that there's a message, but we could tell that they haven't even taken the time to open up the message. We leave voice messages. You don't call us back. I mean, this is your case, your life. And if you don't engage with us, it's definite that you're going to end up spending more money.
Yep. We had the associate in the office literally today had to have a conversation with an attorney saying, we can't care about your case more than you do. You really need to make the time to answer emails. I'm sorry that you're away, but we really need to do this. And, having those phone calls and having to chase somebody, it's going to end up costing the client more money and they're not going to be happy about it.
Yes. I mean, I have a case right now where, I said to a client, look, I don't know that we can work together because it's been so long that we've been trying to get in touch with you. And the client said, oh, but that's not fair. But it's not fair that I'm sitting here waiting for you to get in touch with me. Meanwhile, your adversary's attorney is trying to get in touch with me and I can't answer the person. So now I'm looking like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do because I can't get in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps if I had gotten in touch with you, or if you had returned my attempts, we would have been further down the line, and you would have been close to Ray right now, looking at your divorce decree, talking about I'm free, I'm single and ready to mingle. Come on, let's get on the same page. Again, we're here to help you move forward so that you can get to that next and better phase of your life. So engage.
Yep.
Don't think that we can do everything on our own without you. We
Yep.
can't.
You know, talking about the adversaries also, when you're not engaging with us and we can't engage with our adversaries, things happen on the other side of the table that we don't know about. And if there might have been a way for us to settle an issue, but that no longer exists because we weren't able to engage and respond back, that's going to be the worst case for your, that's going to be the worst thing for your case. And I have to tell you,
Absolutely.
once you get the adversary upset, then they start acting a little more aggressively in the litigation simply because you weren't responding because they think you're ignoring them. I mean, that's also not good for your
Yes.
case. So, you know, you have to engage.
Yes, that is not good for your case. That is not good for your wallet. You're gonna pay.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Mhm.
pay. Your adversary is gonna end up filing a motion for pendente lite support, which means pending litigation support, when we could have just fixed that. We could have come to an agreement that said that you were gonna pay your spouse XYZ amount of money per week, and we could have wrapped that whole issue into a nice little bow and moved on to the next thing.
Mhm.
Instead of spending weeks and thousands of dollars responding to motions.
Yep.
No,
Yep. Yep.
wasn't necessary. What's your next thing, Steph?
My next thing is to proofread what we read you. So I guess that's just along the same lines of the communication issue. I can't tell you how many times I've sent a client, and I appreciate the trust, but I've sent the client a pleading to sign, and they send it back pretty quickly. So I know they
Mm,
haven't read it. I also have
mhm.
leave certain blanks in it because I need them to fill in a little bit of information,
Yes.
and it comes back to me signed with blanks. So I say, I need you to read this and make sure it's okay. And they say, oh, I trust you. No. This is literally your signature saying you certify that what you're saying is the truth. So you need to read it and make sure that I didn't misinterpret something, that I didn't get a date wrong. There's certain things that, and we don't want to look like we're lying simply because I misstated something from my notes that I'm, trying to put in your own words. So we need you to review the documents. I need you to sign them knowingly and not just trusting what I'm doing.
That's right. Because again, like Tamika said, we the best.
Mhm,
But we
mhm,
are still human beings,
mhm.
and this is your case. We didn't live your life. We believe that we understood what you told us, what you wrote to us.
Yep,
We have taken that and we have packaged it in a way that is compliant with court rules, so on and so forth. But if you don't look at it, we're sending it to you because we are welcoming your criticism.
yep.
We're not going to get upset, okay? We're not going to be annoyed that you corrected us. We want to make sure that we are providing you with proper services, elite services, and that we are turning in what is in your best interest and something that's true.
Mhm,
I have had that too, where people are like, I trust you. I know that you mean well. You have my best interest at heart. Sure, I do.
mhm.
But Tamika said, Tamika and I go way back now, and even she would be like, "Oh, you got XYZ wrong." Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Let's fix it. Let's make sure that it's right, because if we send something out that you just signed and it's not right, you're gonna come back to us later and says, where did you get that from? And we'll
Right.
turn back and say, but didn't you read it? I
Yep.
have some videos on my regular Facebook page for the office, and I talk about that all the time. Same thing with regards to agreements. Read them, read them, read them.
Mhm.
Anything your attorney provides to you, read it fully.
Yep. And also, it provides sometimes a trigger. So as you're reading through it, it might trigger a memory of something else that we didn't include or you wanted to include or something you wanted to touch on, something we need to clarify. So, I mean, you have to please read it, read it.
Absolutely, absolutely. My next thing was, even though we are here to serve, we're here to serve in a legal capacity. Don't hang on the phone with us for an hour because you need to work through your feelings. It's not that we don't care about you. Don't get it wrong. My clients know that I give a damn about them. But I also give a damn about not wasting their time or pretending like I provide a service that I don't provide because I'm not trained to provide it.
Mhm.
I might tell you some crazy stuff to do, non-legal, and then you'll be like, I can't believe you got. And now Lord, now I gotta call Jan Katz Nelson because I'm in the cops. Okay, look, we're not psychologists. We are not, even though we care about your feelings, we might even tell you, look, we've been on the phone for 30 minutes now. We are no longer talking about legal issues. Now we're getting into things that you may want to talk about with your therapist or your psychologist or your counselor. Don't think that we're trying to say that you're cuckoo or anything like that. We're not saying that. We're saying that you may need a level of help that we can't, because we're not trained to, provide you with. And there are some attorneys, matrimonial attorneys, who are also social workers, and kudos to them, because that is really an excellent skill to have, right? But if your attorney is not a social worker, then you need to make sure that you take the time to care enough about yourself and your case to go and talk to somebody. Everybody needs another ear to listen to them from time to time. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is no stigma surrounding that. And sometimes you'll get into and out of your divorce a lot quicker by doing that.
I agree. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate the nice comment. And yes, his ex does love me to this day.
Oh, snap. Okay. Look at Stephanie.
I know. Actually, his ex was posting things and saying he went to Hunnell and joking. But afterwards, he actually commented on how much he appreciated the fact that I didn't make him feel terrible about it. The ex, I mean. So they got yes, there was excellent
communication. That's really great.
Yep. Excellent communication with them. And so the ex did comment and said he appreciated that I wasn't like trying to, rake him over the coals and tried to be fair with him.
But again, that's the hallmark of excellent representation and an excellent attorney. We talked about that again in the beginning. Should I hire the bulldog attorney? Should I hire that I'm a slit you attorney? Look, you come to us because you are trying to move on. You don't come to us to stay in mess.
Yep.
And
correct.
If your attorney is behaving in a way that's prolificating mess. Ooh, what kind of hat is it that he wants? Oh, he wants a Hunnell hat. That Hunnell hat is cute. Is that even I don't have a Hunnell hat, Ray.
I have to order some more. I have to order some more. But yeah, I mean, they come to us and people are getting divorced, and there is a level of, we are listening to your problems and we do want to hear everything, like we said at the beginning of this. And some of that is, you need to unload a little bit, which we understand. And we both think we appreciate that and we understand it and we're happy to accept that. But it does cross over at some point to a level where you're trying to get your, you're trying to get something out of us that we can't give you because we're not qualified. So you do. And I have recommended, you might want to talk to a therapist, or if you already have one, maybe you should start doubling up on the appointments, a couple a month instead of, once a month or whatever it is, because sometimes it's necessary. You need that ear. Yep. And you need that ear from somebody who's not charging you as much as we have to charge you when we're
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That's completely right. And Jan put on, he said, unfortunately, clients think that we are not only attorneys, but also shrinks, especially if you have if you have compassion and you give a damn, like Steph and I do. Sometimes people will say to me on the phone, I think I'm talking to my friend. And I take that as a compliment, but you also need to make sure that you're using us for what it is that we are best suited to provide you with.
Yep. And I think this has been an amazing episode to try to help. And this is what we're trying to do. You understand how we can save you money by you giving us what we need. So we kind of are venting a little bit, but it's in your benefit, because we both really don't want to have to charge you a ton of money for things that we don't need to have. We don't have to do.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
52 emails.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yep. What was your next point? So we're at 40 minutes too. So, but you could go.
You know, I talk too much, Stephanie. Talking child, don't get me started. I think that you were going to go next, though, right? You were going to talk about Or did you talk about documents already?
I did. We talked about documents. We talked about
Yes, we
invoices. You
did. We
know,
talked.
there is one thing that is of the utmost importance in matrimonial divorce matters, and that's your case information statement, your financial statement.
Mm.
It is one of the most important things that you can do, and it's the most tedious. I
Yes.
personally did one just so I could see what it was like for my clients. So I understand how tedious it is. It asks for everything. How much you spend on your sundries, hair. I mean, everything. It's down. Is down there, but we need you to prepare it. We need you to do it within a reasonable time period, which is not 5 months. We need you to provide us documents to substantiate what you're putting in it, because the more comprehensive those are, the easier it is for us to resolve your case going forward and try your case if we
Absolutely.
had to.
Absolutely. That
Mhm.
document is what I call the Holy Grail, not to talk about, religion or anything. It's what I call the Holy Grail of any divorce action. And in New York State, we call it the statement of net worth. Look, our statement of net worth makes the case information statement look like child's play. We ask for everything in the statement of net worth. It is ridiculous. Okay, I mean, oh my goodness, I'm surprised that we don't ask what your mother-in-law's social security number is. It's craziness. But it has to be. It's an 18-page document. It's so intimidating, but it has to be done. And we rely upon you because we don't have the information. And sometimes people are like, oh, well, I'll just give you the login from my TD bank account. No,
Mhm.
I don't want the login for your TD bank account. What I do want you to tell me is when you open a TD bank account, how you got the money to open it, how much is in there now, what was in there when the case commenced. These are things that it's just, and here's what I tell my clients: do one page at a time, because a lot of times
Mhm.
people are like, oh, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna be,
Mhm.
and then they look at it and they get sucked into the emotional abyss of what it is to do
Yes.
this. Do
Yes.
one page a day is what I tell people. Just one page a day, and
Yep.
get yourself through it. And when you need assistance, you know, um, my legal assistant in my office is Sonia. She goes through this stuff with you, and we do it on purpose. And I'm sure you might do the same type of thing, Stephanie. We do it on purpose because she bills at a way lower rate than
Yeah.
I do, almost a quarter of the rate hourly that I do. And so
Mhm.
she goes through her stuff. She goes through the stuff with you. If you don't have the right stuff, she's the one who's dealing with it. And you might say, well, how come my day's not doing? Because that day doesn't want to charge you $400 an hour to tell
Yep.
you that you can give me your account number.
Mhm. Yep, 100%. It is,
And
and again, I can't repeat enough. It is tedious and time consuming. So yes, do a page a day. I usually give these to my clients very early on before they're due, because I
yes,
know how long it
yes,
takes. And it doesn't
yes,
take so long just because you have to put the details down. It takes long because it's mentally challenging, um,
yes,
emotionally and mentally challenging, because you have to sit there and look at these things. You don't realize how much you're spending on, coffee all the time, and you're adding these things in. It asks you to put in how much you spend per month on gifts.
yes, it does.
It's such a hard thing to think about, and
Yes,
you don't need
yes,
exact numbers, but when you're thinking about these things, it's really stressful.
it
So yeah,
is. How much do you spend on hobbies? And people will say to me,
yeah.
how do I know how much I spend on clothing? And I'm like, okay, so this is what you're going to do. When pre-COVID, because some people are
Mhm.
spending more post-COVID on clothes than they had nothing else to do.
I got Amazon
Pre-COVID,
shopping coming every day.
see, I had to stay away from that, child. My PayPal and my credit card is clean. But I did go overboard on one thing, which you already know about. But anyway, this ain't about me. So,
Let's see your
but
CIS.
right, child, not this summer. You don't want to see it. So, so, um, this thing, what you have to understand is that this document guides the attorneys and the court through what your marital status quo was, what you might need in the future. If you're saying that she has been siphoning money that was put into a joint account, this thing is going to help us along with the discovery documents, right, Steph?
Yep, yep.
That discovery is key. And no, we're not going to waive your statements of net worth and your CIS if you have 3 kids, a house, and a dog, and 4
Right.
pensions and credit card debt. No, we're not waiving it.
Mhm.
I don't care if your Aunt Sandy said that she didn't do one in her divorce 35 years ago. They didn't even have the document 35 years ago.
I have to tell you, when there's not a lot of full divorce trials because most cases settle, even if they're settling on the eve of trial, or part of a case settles and you only have one or two limited issues. But the last time I had a full divorce trial, I was so happy that I had the case information statement with everything attached to it because we were able to move through the case so much more smoothly. My
Yeah.
adversary had submitted a case information statement with nothing attached. Numbers that were in there was completely useless as far as I'm concerned. And their case lasted, I don't know, I think it was at least probably cumulatively 8 hours for just the client to go through all of these things because you have to fumble through. Okay,
Yes.
now we have to show each of these statements. Well, when you have the
Yeah.
case information statement, you just have the one document and you can go through it. Here's what I spend on this. How do
That's
you
right.
know? Right here, I know because here's my bank statement. Oh, how do
That's
I?
right.
Everything is there. So we move through it very quickly. And that saves you money because trials are very, very expensive.
They are extremely expensive and they are extremely time consuming and they are extremely emotionally stressful.
Yep.
There's two types of currency. In my mind, there's emotional currency and there's fiscal currency, right? The pecuniary
Right.
money currency. And you don't want to spend
We
either one of
lost
them
you
on
for
a
a
trial.
second. Are you still
Yeah.
there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
You see me?
Yep, I could see you. You stopped at fiscal currency.
Oh, that money, that
Yep.
cashish. And so, the more time we have to spend on figuring out your documents and this, that, and the other, the more time we're going to spend doing it in trial too, because, disorganization is disorganization no matter what the venue is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're at the 40, a little over 45 minutes, 46 minutes now. So is
Shall
there
we
anything?
give the people a whole lot of
Yes.
tea to drink today?
We did. And I have to tell you, we were talking about this topic at the beginning, I wasn't sure we would have that much to talk about, but there really is a lot to talk about. And there's a lot of good tips in here to save clients money.
That's what we should have named it. How you can help us save you money in your
Yes.
divorce
Yes.
case.
I pretty
We
much
might rename it.
Yep, pretty much everything that we've touched on is about saving you money or helping the attorney-client relationship to make sure there's a level of trust.
Which therefore saves you money.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yep,
Exactly.
it does. It does. So listen, we had a whole lot of class participation today. You
We
get a
did. It
gold
was
star. You can do
awesome.
something. Yes. Look at this. Look at this. Thank y'all so much for watching us. We really have a great time presenting. We have Stephanie and I have a good time hanging out together anyway. So it's really just a blessing for us to be able to help and interact with you all, right, Steph?
It is. And if you like it, please share, like the page, and share it with your friends. We're definitely going to have a lot more content just like this. And also, we're going to mix in some other things like related to the law. We had bankruptcy a couple weeks ago. We're going to talk to some kind of a planner regarding business evaluations. So we're also going to have substance, but also I think very important is how to manage attorney-client relationships, which we're going to touch on a lot as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it will definitely, and listen, if there's something that you want us to talk about, again, make sure you let us know. We are here to help you.
Yes. Good. We're signing off. Thanks.
We are
Thank
signing
you for
off.
joining us at
Thanks for
Undoing I
watching
Do.
Undoing I Do.
See you next week.